Hi, it's Miglena from thepoledancer.com, where I teach pole dancers how to dance. How to actually dance with fluidity and style. I'd say it took me about 7 years to create this video. I think it's been 7 or 8 years when I first choreographed my very first piece. Since then, I've been creating short pole choreos for my beginner classes every week, plus a longer lyrical pole choreography every month, and a couple of performance pieces per year. I've also helped many pole dancers create their own choreographies. One thing I realized lately is that it's really easy for me to help others choreograph their own routines, while choreographing for myself hasn't always been that easy. Sometimes it flows, but most of the time it's a lot of starts and stops. It's being stuck and getting unstuck again. I remember that I used to have all of these great ideas in my head, this masterpiece. But in reality, I couldn't do any of it. It was too difficult for the level I was at. It took me a few years until I was able to get the ideas from my head out into the world. I know that I'm not alone. Many pole dancers I've talked to have experienced exactly the same. Another thing that became clear is that what comes easily to me tends to be really hard for some people. Like finding a starting point, choosing the moves, coming up with transitions, making it flow and match the music. So far, I've been able to help many pole dancers. I hope that I can help you too with this video. So I created a survey, and the first thing pole dancers get stuck at while choreographing is filling the blank and getting this vague concept out of their heads. Now, if you're inspired by a song and you have ideas for what a choreo to this song could look like, don't wait. Get up and test it right away. Use every spark of inspiration and see how far you can come. This is a good starting point if you have specific images and ideas for specific moves. Test them and make sure to sync them with the music regularly. If it's an emotionally driven inspiration, you know these days where you just feel intensely and you're really feeling the music. Use that and put on a camera. Then forget that there's a camera and dance without any specific goal. Let it flow and don't get stuck in moves. Listen and let your body move. Take advantage of that clear mind that's not overthinking but just feeling. Repeat a few times and then watch your videos back. Look for just 1 or 2 things that you like. Most of it won't be good. You just need 1 or 2 things that you can use as a starting point for your choreography. If you end up just staring at the pole, not knowing what to do, maybe your ideas are too vague or too difficult, maybe you don't have any ideas at all, or maybe you like a song but just don't know where to start, then I recommend a different approach. Analyze the song and split it into parts. Make a timeline. For example, first 16 seconds intro. From 16 seconds to 32 seconds, verse 1, verse 2, chorus. Then make a rough plan of where you're going to be in these parts. On the floor, low on the pole, in the air. Later you can get more specific with the moves. By structuring and planning out your choreo, you're getting a more clear image of what your choreo will look like and what type of moves you need to prepare. You also understand the song better, and most importantly, you can now choose which parts to start with, and you can work on them separately. To learn more about how to start creating a choreo from scratch, check out the free guide on thepoledancer.com/choreographing. I'll guide you through the exact process of structuring your choreo according to the music and planning out the creative steps. You go from a blank page to having a clear idea of what your choreo will look like. You find practical examples and a template that you can start using right away for your next choreo. Check out thepoledancer.com/choreographing. Next, how do I choose the moves and how do I find original transitions? Here's what pole dancers say about this part of choreographing. So many options, but paralyzed by guessing what would look best. Always want to put in everything I know. I'm stuck using the same moves over and over again. In my head, it looks great. In reality, it's too hard for me. I encourage you to dream and use your imagination as long as this unlocks your creativity. And at the same time, I want you to set realistic expectations for yourself. What is your current level and experience? Am I a beginner or have I been learning for a few years? Do I learn just single tricks or do I also practice combos with several tricks and transitions? Am I used to dance choreographies that are at least 1 minute long? Do I enjoy choreographies or am I more of a freestyler? If you're a beginner or you don't have much experience with choreos, I recommend you take some more choreo classes. You can also start creating short sequences to music, like the routines that I teach in my beginner technique and flow classes. With practice, you can make these sequences a little bit longer. 1 minute, 1.5, 2 minutes. And you can start adding variety to your moves. Floor moves, spins, upside down tricks. But start with what you already know. And this is my second piece of advice: recycle. Start with something you like and you've done before, especially if you're preparing a performance piece where you want to show your best on stage. There's no shame in recycling, in repeating things you've done before. They will always be different. Musicality, transitions, expression. You can change all of this and make it look unique and interesting. Variations. Which move do you like, but kind of feels boring already or too standard? I can assure you that of every standard trick, there are at least a few unusual and interesting shape variations. This is something I teach in my intermediate advanced online classes. Every month we focus on variations of one fundamental trick. We explore different contact points, different entries and exits and different combos with it. I've uploaded some of these combos on my YouTube channel. You're going to find variations of butterfly, jade, ballerina, brass monkey and more. One thing I hear over and over again is, I struggle with finding original transitions. I lack ideas for combos and transitions. Right now, it has never been easier to find ideas. They are just one click away. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You're going to find loads and loads of ideas. Finding ideas is not the problem. It seems to me that choosing ideas is the problem. Maybe it is exactly the fact that there are too many options. Analysis paralysis. And I've been there. I have maybe 40 saved albums on Instagram with countless videos. When I was a younger pole dancer, I used to spend hours trying out combos from videos that I eventually could not nail because they were too difficult. I'm much more advanced now, but I also started using platforms like Instagram more strategically. I'd pick a move that I know, for example the ballerina, and I would search for PD ballerina or PD ballerina variation. If I know the name of the variation, I would search directly for it, like PD twisted ballerina, PD sickle foot ballerina, PD ballerina split, PD capezio. This also works with beginner spins, PD chair variation, PD fireman. The results become more narrow, and this is much more doable than trying to learn a completely new trick from a random video on the internet. Still, it's best if the pole dance studio you go to offers a variety of classes that teach a variety of dance styles and a variety of skills, like static, spinning, flow work, freestyle, etc. This not only helps you grow as a dancer, but it also helps you develop your own personal style. The last challenge I'd like to cover today is how to make it flow and match the music. I've noticed that pole dancers focus too much on technique. They worry about the tricks as if that's the most important thing. They would change and polish tricks until the day before the performance. Not only is this nerve-wracking, but it also doesn't allow time and mental space to focus on things like musicality, fluidity, and expression. They get into their head and they forget to dance. So my first tip is to get your choreo done and polished as early as possible. Plan several training sessions where you focus only on fluidity and expression, especially if this is something you're struggling with. If it's a performance piece, spend the last 2 weeks before the performance focusing on fluidity and expression. Here are a few things that will improve your flow. First, and you might have heard this before, don't put in too many tricks. This only makes your choreo feel harder and look more mechanical. If you have more than 4 tricks in your combo, check if it works better with less tricks and longer transitions. You can instead add beautiful spins into climbing. You can take your time and dance your climbs. This will add more air into your choreo and will also give you time to rest. Second, if you tend to rush, which is very common, and to cut moves short, split your choreo into smaller parts. For every move that you do, ask yourself, what is the maximum stretch that I can reach here? Dance and drill these parts without music. Focus on extending, lengthening, and really finishing every move. Drill until you become faster and moves start flowing together. If the music is still making you rush, you can lower the speed of the song. Musicality is a skill that's developed with practice. But you need to actively listen to the song, recognize the rhythm and the different layers of instruments and vocals. You can be musical without counting, but learning to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 helps you understand the rhythm better. You will know for how long you should do every move and how to play with the different accents and layers of the song. Here are a few examples. Depending on the moves and on the speed of the song, you can dance every move for 2 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or for 4 counts when the moves are longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the air, you will need longer for transitions, and you might also want to hold shapes longer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you have a song with clear accents, you can accentuate them with your movements. Not always, but often accents are on even counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2,
and dark
3,
scheming.
4,
Yeah, you're
5,
doomed.
6, 7, 8.
You're a
1,
poison,
2,
and I
3,
know that
4,
it's some
5,
tune.
6, 7, 8.
All my friends.
You will develop a sense for counting with practice. If counting is too confusing, you can instead match your moves to the beat of the song, to the lyrics, or the different sounds and instruments. Your moves and the way you execute them should match the mood of the song. I personally think that you can make every move of any style look a certain way. For example, a move that's usually bold and energetic can also look soft and poetic, and vice versa. If you're choreographing to a melodic singer-songwriter song, make your moves longer and your transitions more fluent, more seamless. If you're choreographing to a faster song with a distinct beat and accents, then make your moves shorter, sharper, and more accentuated. We could go much deeper into musicality and choreographing, but these are some general rules that you can follow. To learn how to start creating a choreo from a scratch, go to thepoledancer.com/choreographing. I'll guide you through the exact process of structuring a choreo according to the music and planning out the creative steps. You'll go from a blank page to having a clear idea of what your choreo will look like. You'll find practical examples and a template that you can start using right away for your next choreo. Check out thepoledancer.com/choreographing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.